Hi, this is Caroline. Welcome to the show. Today's guest is Ben Warner, who is the founder and visionary behind Coast Film Festival, which is a unique event that takes place in the beautiful seaside town of Laguna Beach, California. Welcome to the show, Ben. How are you?
I'm great, Caroline. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you because, as you know, disclosure, I work with Coast Film Festival, my day job at K-Line Media Group. We do the public relations, but I wanted to interview Ben because I think that it's a really unique event and includes a couple of industries and art and films that most people don't get a chance to see. So Ben, why don't you tell the listeners and viewers all about Coast and the inspiration behind starting Coast Film Festival?
Great. Thanks, Caroline. The Coast Film Festival started in 2019, and we're working on our third event, which will be this November in Laguna Beach. I had the idea of the Coast Film Festival years ago, 12, 15 years ago, and continued to evolve the concept as time went on and essentially waited for the right opportunity to start the event. I think the inspiration for the Coast Film Festival truly was, a myriad of things, but basically there's no film festival in Laguna Beach, and Laguna Beach is an art colony and has an incredible legacy of art history. And it has an incredible events that sell out every year with summer festivals and such to celebrate art, but really nothing around contemporary art and moving art like film and digital art. And so I kind of saw the business side of the opportunity there. And then working in the active outdoor lifestyle industry as a marketer, I saw the opportunity to bring together the outdoor industry and the surf and ocean industries, because both sides of both communities talk about the other, but rarely do they come together. And so I had the unique experience of living in Laguna Beach, but doing most of my work in mountain towns like Boulder, Colorado, or Salt Lake City, or Portland, Oregon. And brands like the North Face and Patagonia, and professional athletes like trail runners and skiers and snowboarders. But I'd come home to Laguna and I'd hang out with all my friends that worked in the surf industry and professional surfers. And so I saw an opportunity to bring those people together because of our common passion for the outdoors and getting outside. And then additionally, I think, Caroline, the third, and I'll stop there, but the third idea that drove making the film festival happen was that there was an inherent need to talk about the environment and conservation, and so by bringing together these large communities as one and celebrating getting outside and active, healthy lifestyles, we also had the opportunity to bring build a larger voice together and communicate to each other about new and important topics relevant to conservation, but also to share those stories with the public, and ultimately with the goal to inspire audiences to not only get outside, but also to protect, to enjoy the outside for future generations.
That's great, Ben. There are several film festivals across the country that everybody knows about. Is there one that actually addresses the outdoor action sports lifestyle plus conservation? Or is this a totally unique type of event that you have created?
That's a really good question, because there are amazing film festivals out there all around the world. Some that have been around for over 50 years. The Banff Film Festival, as an example, that is rooted in celebrating outdoor adventure and conservation, that has evolved into a film festival that also talks about social topics and adventure and so on. Mountain Film Festival in Telluride recently celebrated its I think 40th anniversary. These were both iconic in the outdoor adventure space, and still are, but they don't talk much about the active outdoor lifestyle from an action sports and surf and skate standpoint. So that, I think we are in a unique niche, and there's also a proliferation of content creation, right, Caroline? So much content that's being made in each of these individual genre, right? And what an opportunity to spotlight creators that most people might not know, which these traditional film festivals have always done a great job with, but now there's so much. And so that's where our opportunity is really to maybe go a little bit broader with outdoor and action sports, but also focus on the emerging filmmakers as much as the pros. Maybe even picking films that have been out for a few years, which is another kind of non-typical film festival model, right? Where curating films that collectively tell important stories and ultimately inspire audiences. Doesn't necessarily have to be discovering brand new films, but more of a curation process.
And what Coast Film Festival is doing is bringing surf films, films about skiing, films about snowboarding, films about mountaineering to a wider audience. You know, we could talk about the directors, and locally here in Laguna Beach, Greg McGilvery. What's so great is that, you know, Greg is huge in the world, but is also such a part of our community. And so like these other filmmakers come here and interact with Greg, and their films are equally as beautiful and as heartfelt and as professional as Greg's films. And so, you know, there's a real camaraderie.
Well said, Caroline. I think you're right on with that. And Greg and his wife Barbara, who have been in the film industry forever, and they're you know, best known for their IMAX films, mostly about adventure and outdoor education. But they constantly come back to me and say, Ben, that, you know, the uniqueness of your, that like the gem of your film festival is the youth, and to see families showing up to watch these films together. And it's funny, if you look back at some of the photos from past film festivals that we've done, it's really cool. Like you can literally see, you know, the faces of the people, and of course we get the data too, right? But when you actually see the faces of you know, from youth all the way to 70 and 80-year-olds that are all there to you know, because they're film fans, or they love the outdoors, or they just want something to do. It's super powerful.
Yeah, I can attest to that. So I want to ask about what inspired you as a kid, like when you, that's a leading question. How old were you when you discovered that you were really, you know, passionate about the outdoors and conservation? What was like that moment where you just knew that this was going to be a direction that I want to have my life, my passion, and also my work in?
Gosh, I think there's a couple of different eras in my life that led me to where I am today. I feel like with the film festival, it's a bringing together of several different career experiences and personal life experiences, which is awesome, right? It makes it super magic, especially in my age, and you know, the hope that I can build something that lasts, and also build some legacy. I was thinking about this, Caroline. I grew up in the country in New England, and a classic New England farm, dirt road. Spent a lot of time, you know, in the barn feeding animals and cleaning and doing chores, right? But I also spent a lot of time fishing and building forts and hiking. And I was one of those kids that was so lucky, in hindsight, to be able to grow up that way. My father always reminds me of the time when he and my older brother and mother went for a hike in the woods, and at the time I was crawling, so whatever that was, let's say 2 years old. I crawled in the woods and followed them over sticks and pine cones and rocks, and was determined to be on that hike with them. And I think that's a good example of, you know, my continued passion for being outside. And then over time, you know, I think to tie it to the film festival, I was always reading magazines like Powder Magazine and Surfer Magazine, and cutting out the pictures and building art with those, and then watching the Warren Miller movies as a young teenager, working in ski shops and so on. And so I was kind of building a dream to get outside. And at that time, I didn't realize the influence that media was having on me, to make lifelong decisions. But now in my older career, I can look back and realize that maybe that's why I got into publishing Powder Magazine and Bike Magazine, and producing many films. And then the connection to conservation, I realized, great to get outside and to build a career around your passion. But, I was always promoting getting outside, but I was never promoting the idea of protecting what you enjoy. And I worked at the Sierra Club for a few years in their media group. And at that time, I kind of suddenly realized, how important the environment is, and the need to protect it. And then B, this rising concern of climate change, and the fact that through media, we can actually educate and inspire people to change in a positive way. And it goes all the way back to Ansel Adams and John Muir, and how they convinced very important people to create the national park system through pictures and stories. And so, wow, bring all that together. And here we are, right? So grand ideas with the film festival, all connected back to my experiences in the outdoors and in publishing.
Yeah, and you've achieved it, definitely, and it's just going to get bigger. What is the vision for Coast Film Festival, in the bigger picture moving forward?
I think it's, we want to build it, of course. Right now, it's a 4-day event in Laguna Beach, and the intent there is to grow slowly in a sustainable way, and hopefully add more days, and by doing so, adding more activities and more films, and ultimately attracting more people to experience it. We also have the idea of expanding into other markets around the world, and kind of building out this message, really using Laguna Beach as the best example of a place that's fortunate, and really enjoying the rewards of long-term vision and passion by people that protected the land and the sea around Laguna Beach amid one of the largest urban sprawls in the world. And so how do we kind of pack that up and share that message with other markets around the world, by bringing them together through the power of film? So
Great
yeah,
vision.
not a lot of detail, but that's a broad view.
No, but I mean, that's what the visions are, that's what your goal is. Because the conservation piece is really important. You call the festival edutainment, it's education and entertainment combined. And also one of the tenets of this festival is protect, what's the hashtag?
Well, we have two. We have one that's get outside, and that's it, very positive, go out and feel the benefits of nature, and connections with yourself and with others through nature. And then the other is protect to enjoy.
To enjoy. That's So, I mean, that's a very important piece is, get outside, mountain bike, do what, like utilize trails and the beach and mountains and everything. But there's also a piece of responsibility when you're out there, shredding, and that's to also give back and help to, maintain those areas of recreation so that our kids and their kids can enjoy it as well, right?
And what's interesting is that we want to be careful to not say we're an environmental film festival. There are those out there. We're not a specific like surf film festival. We're really, at the risk of being a little bit of something to everybody, we really try to draw people for their interest in film, and the sense of stoke and inspiration and connecting to nature and adventure, right? And then the softer angle is to take a certain level of responsibility about these areas, and that's really important. But it's there's no hammer. It's really more just walk away feeling inspired, and maybe you'll be inspired enough to change. And Caroline, I bumped into some people on a hiking trail the other day, and they saw my Coast Film Festival hat, and didn't really know them, but they recognized me in the hat, and they commented that, that the particular film section that we showed last year that talked about the oceans and the basically the perils of the U.S. fishing industry. And they had, since after they watched that film, have changed their lifestyle habit. They've changed how they buy fish, how they source fish. And to me, that helped validate in one way that it actually works, right?
That's fantastic. Nothing like, real feedback from real people.
Yeah.
That, it's one thing to get slaps on the back and, accolades from your peers, but to have strangers come up and say, hey, you made me, this is the shift that I made as a result of that film I saw at your festival. Can't ask for more than that, right? That's just gold. That's great. Congratulations. I love that.
Thank you.
I have a couple more questions. For the people out there that don't know what the word stoke refers to, it's an ethos, right? More than it is. Why don't you just give an explanation of the word stoke?
Gosh, that's a really good question, because I use it more and more, even in my business communication now. And I think before, it might have been a term that I saw when I was thinking about moving to Southern California, kind of like a rad surf term. But to me, it's really become an important word in my life, and that it means so much. And I think it's subjective. You can define stoke any way you want, but ultimately, I think it brings a certain level of happiness and a feeling of energy, right, that you get from something that makes you happy, whether it's surfing or mountain biking or trail running or having great interviews on podcasts like this.
Too kind. You're too kind. It's a great word. So that actually segues into my last question. What are you most stoked about right now? What's your favorite thing that is, could be a food or a place or a biking trail or whatever? What's on your mind right now that you would love people to know about?
Gosh, I think for me personally, Caroline, I've really been trying to hone in on my own health, both physical and mental health. I've always been healthy as far as active recreation. I always get outside every day and doing something, but the balance of diet and sleep and as something I've been really focusing on lately. And so I think a work-life balance, I've incorporated some, I wouldn't call it heavy meditation, but basically mobility, stretching in the morning, and with a little bit of time away from my phone and just collecting my thoughts for the day each morning have been awesome. It really kind of sets the tone for the day.
I think that's beautiful. I think hopefully a lot of the world is on that bandwagon of really taking some personal time to center and meditate a little bit and just chill out. I just interviewed somebody. Her name is Ellen Wong, and she's a breathwork shaman. And there are all kinds of benefits to breathing, throughout the day, and also just doing little short meditations and taking time out away from technology and electronics and people and news and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good one, Ben.
Thanks, Caroline. Yeah, I mean, life is moving so fast, and you have to, I think it's up to all of us to figure out how to kind of harness it a little bit and slow down in whatever way you can, because it's not, the wheel doesn't slow down.
Right.
It's up to you.
Faster and faster, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, Ben Warner, founder and inspiration behind Coast Film Festival, which takes place in Laguna Beach in November every year. Thank you very much for being on Connected, Caroline. And we hope to see you again.
Okay. Right. Thanks, Caroline. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Ben. Bye. This is Caroline for Connected, Caroline. Make it a giving day.